What is up, folks? Welcome back to another live stream repair. Let's get ourselves situated here. I've been kind of cleaning. Yeah, look at that. Heck of a lot better than what it was yesterday. I'm not done yet, but I mean, the idea is to use it as intended and have different piles of different screws here so I don't have to dig through. And yeah, you know, organize. Mom will be proud. Let's get our cameras going. Let's get plugged in. Alright. And yeah, I gotta put some of my stuff back here really quick. Let's see, I'll put my filters back there. I'll put my diodes up here. All my minis. I'll reorganize those one day. Can't forget my mac and cheese. Oh yeah, let's shoot Vance a message so they can hop in here before we wrap up their HomePods. Where's Vance? Where is Vance? We texted them. That's why. Alright, let me text them again here. Here we are. I gotta say, that is one heck of a cool phone number, Vance. Alright, we got him messaged, which means we gotta add some more stuff to the queue here too. Yeah, let's do that now. Yeah. After Vance's third HomePod, we're gonna look at Chris with no power, and then Julia with no power, George with 2, one with no power, one with death farts. And then, of course, there's a bunch more, but we're not going to have too long of a stream today. Starting a little later than I'd like to, and I'd really like to make tacos for dinner tonight. So, alright, we were, I believe, on our way back together with Vance's here. when we disconnected yesterday. Had to step away to, you know, help with the kid waking up at almost 1 in the morning. Kinda crazy, but kinda not. Let's catch up with the chat here really quick and then we'll get started. Alright, Stefan, welcome back. Welcome. Is that the only fella in the chat here and now? Wild. Let's see, ooh. There was a good reason for that amp screw hanging out there. I guess I didn't get one last amp screw in. Let's do that. Where's Stefan screaming at me about the amp screws when you need him? Screaming at me about the amp screws. Nixon, welcome back. You see how it, what? What's going on? How's it going? Stefan, they make, bug screens for your window. It would, behoove you to equip one of those. Heck, you could probably just get some plain old screen material and tape or Velcro it to your window frame and call it good. I watched like 3 hairs fall into there. How is it that the cleaner my desk is, the more hairs floating around? I guess it's not all the crap that's sitting around my desk able to catch it. It's got nothing to catch on, so it just floats around until it lands where I don't want it. I guess kind of similar to like sound waves in your room, you know. I don't know if you've ever gotten a good comparison between how your audio sounds on a speaker in a giant empty room versus a giant room full of a bunch of stuff. You'll notice there's a lot less echo because the sound waves get absorbed by all the stuff sitting around versus empty walls and ceiling and floor tend to reflect the sounds more, almost give you an echo. Same situation here. There's no stuff on my floor and walls for the hairs to catch, so instead they just bounce around and reflect until they... How hairy are my legs? I don't know. I don't see any on there. I see a straggler here and there. It's a shame, really. I used to be quite hairy when I was in middle school, before it all just... But that's a... oh man. I remember in middle school too, people would make fun of me all the time for having literally too much hair. Like my arms. Yeah, I've still got a little bit of arm hair. Just a teeny bit. But when I was a lad, I had a ton of hair. I'd get made fun of for it, and then it all fell out, and then everyone made fun of you for not having any hair. You can't make anyone happy, so I don't bother trying. What happened? Well, I was playing with my butane soldering iron, and I overfilled it, and it exploded, and burned every single hair off my... I'm just kidding. I have alopecia. the totalis, not the arealis, whatever. I've got whole body pretty much. No inappropriate questions. I've got pretty much total hair loss across my whole body, and it's like an autoimmune disorder. Different doctors speculate different triggers and things that can cause it, but at the end of the day, my immune system attacks my hair follicles, so I just stop growing hair. And my mom did all sorts of tests on me to try to figure out what it was. Tried different, like, like the corticosteroid shots and special food diets like gluten and dairy free. There was a time, I got taken to an autoimmune specialist, and they tested me. They put me through an allergy panel, and apparently I'm allergic to gluten, dairy, eggs. What else? I mean, those are the big ones that I can remember. And back in the early 2000s, trying to do a gluten, dairy, egg-free diet. Yeah, right. You're suffering if you're doing that. And then on top of that, freaking living on food stamps too. My mom's trying to do all of that. And it's hard to say if it ever really helped anything, because of, we didn't know how sensitive my gluten my gluten allergy was. Was it trace amounts that would make my hair fall out? It seemed so. That's what the doctors were saying. Or was it, I gotta eat enough of it for it to cause a problem. But in any case, it didn't seem to, for one reason or another, make any difference. But yeah, now these days they've got all sorts of experimental medication out there on the market. I gotta go back to the doctor one day and try some stuff out, because a lot's changed since I last bothered. Like anything with coffee bean or cocoa bean in it makes my throat really itchy. Despite that, I still drink as much coffee as I do every day, and it makes me sneeze a bunch too. But I can live with those side effects. And I got those nerves in my nose all crossed with the nerves from my eyeballs, where if you've got like enough UV or sunlight, it makes you sneeze. Good stuff. Hopefully my kid's not as cursed as I am.
I'm having trouble connecting.
All right. Let's get him. Number 3 for Vance. And then up next is gonna be Chris. So let's let Chris know they're coming up next. 3809. A text message. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna charge a premium for texting. You want my phone number? You gotta pay extra for it. I'ma blow up and act like my phone number's worth some money. Copy. Okay, alright. Let's go. No lights, no power. Couple of watts from the wall. Goodness, looks like the usual dead diode. Let's dig in. Oh. Bro complains about texting like he's got limited minutes or something. See, I was born and raised in a time where, yeah, no. Man, if my life wasn't perpetually left with more than 100 unread messages and emails every night before I went to bed, I'd be much happier texting people. But it's just the sheer amount. And then people call me. Phone calls. Spooky. Don't make me talk. I talk enough here. But really, I mean, phone calls are okay. The problem that I have with phone calls is that I very often do not have the time to sit for a few minutes and, you know, stop whatever I'm doing and talk to you on the phone. And in addition to that, you're basically, excuse me, cutting in front of everybody else that's been waiting for me to reply to their message or email. If I spoke to everybody on the phone that wanted to, I would literally not have time to get anything done. So it's not like I can't do it fairly. I just don't want to, I can't, and I don't have the time, so I just don't want to do it at all. Texting is the compromise. Get a separate work phone. Well, see, the problem isn't separation or not. The problem isn't the separation. At the end of the day, it's just the sheer volume. Like, I simply do not have the time to speak to everybody on the phone, let alone reply to everybody's messages before the day is over and I'm falling asleep trying to catch up. I mean, yeah, we were up till 12:30 last night streaming repairs, and then I had to stay up an extra hour or so after that just to catch up with people whose HomePod showed up that day and the people who got their stuff fixed yesterday. And I still didn't even finish getting through everyone that got fixed yesterday. It's a scalability problem. But one of my viewers put it well, and I'm sure it's a quote from something else, but a victim of our own success, I guess. It's a good problem to have. As long as people aren't getting upset or unhappy, then we'll get by. What's my thoughts on the Harman Kardon Aura 2s. I haven't even heard of those, let alone had a chance to hear or see what those are about. Is that a DJ Khaled album, Suffering from Success? That's funny. It's funny, but also just like so like, I don't know. It's not like I can afford to pay people to work for me. I'd have to charge, like, I would literally have to charge double so that that way they could take home a meaningful amount. And I'd have to give them most of the work. So I wouldn't make almost anything. I wouldn't have any work. But I mean, if that's time that I get back and I'm making money while they're doing it for me, then I can spend that time doing something else and, finding a way to make other money. I guess that's what business owners do, huh? They start something, they get other people to start doing it for them, taking a cut of it and moving on to the next thing to make them some more money. But I don't know, I like doing it. To a degree, I love doing this. I don't love having 15 show up in 90-degree weather with no air conditioning and not even enough time to catch up from the past 3 days worth of emails. But I do thoroughly enjoy still sitting down and getting to fix this stuff. I forgot to get a new iron tip again. I even placed an Amazon order last night, and then another one this morning, and I still forgot to get more iron tips. Bullocks. Alright, so first we're going to replace the filtering capacitors. They remove unwanted DC voltage from the audio signal before it's amplified and sent to the subwoofer. These ceramic capacitors naturally go bad over time, and whether they're being used or not, they will go bad, and in this particular place, that will result in death farts and roasty bass speakers. We like to stay ahead of that stuff. And then we'll flip it around. We've got our dead diode here, certainly as part of that expected batch. Yep, 48K date code right there. Let's get that replaced with one that won't fail on them. It's too hot for me to show you, but it just pulls in and out. It's got like a little socket in there, like a ceramic socket. Yeah, we're getting there though. It freaking feels like I've lived through 3 world wars by now. No disrespect to anybody that actually has. Oh yeah, Nixon, everything goes bad. Everything goes bad. But within the lifespan of a HomePod, the Schottky diode in particular should be one of the last things, if ever, to just fail on its own. If not from, you know... Oh man, I really don't know how long it would take, but we're talking many years before these Schottky diodes should be failing. But it's not really where was I going with that? It's not like, they're not like the filtering capacitors where they have an expected shelf life and being used or not, they sort of derate and get worse over time. Nah. These diodes generally shouldn't be doing anything sitting there other than acting as a protection diode. And then, in which case, it will I believe it should normally fail open. It's kind of strange for it to be failing closed short. Maybe I got that backwards, but in any case, Schottky diodes generally don't just fail on their own, be it sitting there unused or under load. I mean, it's the same thing as like anything else. Nothing lasts forever. It's gonna eventually degrade and decay and fall apart and stop working, but that's on such a much larger timeline than what most of the rest of the parts in the HomePod are gonna probably survive. Now, generally, things aren't, from what I've seen, designed to protect things in the event of failures. Things are generally put there to keep it from burning your house down and you suing them, and not much more. Like, whoop-de-doo if it fails and breaks and you've got to buy a new one. All they really care about is that it doesn't hurt you or kill you in the process. But in any case, the Schottky diode it's there for protection in some sort. I believe it's supposed to. I don't actually remember. But, I'd have to look it up so I don't butcher how it works to you. But, basically, it's not like the filters that are sitting there actively doing something and have an effect on the performance. It's there to protect, and it will fail and prevent things from working if it detects that condition that it's put there to protect against. But those conditions aren't happening. Instead, they had something funny in the water during those 2 weeks of manufacturing for those particular diodes. The Schottky diode.
having trouble connecting.
Alright.
I know.
We've got Vance and all three of his HomePods finally fixed up. Let's move on to Chris. Vance, if you're watching, I'll follow up with you as soon as we get a chance after the stream here to get your pods back. Let's take a look here at Chris's HomePod now. Chris with no power. Coming up after Chris here is going to be Julia, also with no power. So here we go, no lights, no power, no nothing. They wanted us to look really quick at the top. It is quite beat up. It's not showing up on camera very well. There you go. So it is fairly beat up. Looks like maybe the top of the power cord might have, I don't know, gotten wrapped around the top of it at some point. What do I have for replacement options? Let's see. I've got I do not have many left, but let's see what we've got here. If you want the really nice one, I've got one that's excellent shape. Yeah, I mean, you can't see anything wrong with it. But I'm gonna charge you a premium for that. That's $20 if you want one in nice shape, because they're really hard to come by. I've got the same deal here. I have to charge a premium for those because when people buy our refurbished pods, I've got to use the good stuff. I've got one here. That one's got a crack in it, but I've got one here that you might like. It's got a couple of scratches. You can see it kind of in the light, but it's just got a couple of scratches here. Nothing you can clean off, but it is in one piece. We could do this one for $10, or we could do a really nice top here for 20 bucks. I think they're actually texting me right now. Let's see. Oh, they want to go for the new one, for the real nice one for 20. Very good. All right. Let me pick the nicest one I got here. I mean, if I'm going to charge you a premium, I'm going to give you the nicest one I do have. Alright, let's see, is this one any better? That's the cracked one. Very nice. Alright. That one is yours, unless I find a nicer one. And that one is. Yeah, this one has a tiny little scratch in it, so it's not perfect, but Oh, I do have this one. Oh, perfect, perfect, perfect. That one's even better. I can't find anything wrong with that one, so we're gonna rock it. Really? I didn't even get a chance to pull on it yet. It's like, I don't know what's going on. That's that's starting to happen more often. And that's kind of concerning. The ribbon cable just literally falling apart in my hand. It's got to be from the subwoofer just shaking the crap out of it. It's gonna make it a lot harder to pry this off too. Because now that ribbon cable's stuck to it, I'm gonna have to just kind of stab it apart. There we go. Okay. Nah, no one's been in this one. No one's been in here. How come I don't use alcohol to unstick the cable? I do! I do. It didn't break where it gets stuck. It literally tore right where it droops down before it goes into the connector. So I imagine where it droops down right above the subwoofer is getting shaken around and flexing it. And you know, I don't know if you've ever bent a wire back and forth enough times to the point where it just breaks, but I have a feeling that might be similar to what's happening to those ribbon cables. And it only takes a little bit of extra oomph, i.e. me starting to pull on it, to really do it in. Alright, let's do what we came here for first, and then we'll fix our F up there. Oh my goodness. Alright. Oh, that's really good. Okay. You think Stefan paid too much when it was $50 for a broken HomePod? I don't think so. I'm easily paying more than that for my busted ones. I mean, like, $60, $70, upwards of $80 to $90 in some cases just to get my hands on a parts pod because I really need the parts. The idea is I can make a couple of dollars between the parts and the repairs that I can do from the parts. But if I gotta pay more than like $80, $90 for it, I start to lose money. And at that point, I'd rather just fix it and keep it for myself, but I can't because I end up I really need those parts. I almost forgot. We gotta replace that that ribbon cable really quick here. Let's get these back out. My hand cramping is not helping. Goodness. But we got that on there. We just need to get this other one. Yes. Okay. Woo. I can't say I'm a huge fan of having to replace those, but at least we can do it. That's, yeah, Stefan. That's pretty similar to... Oh man, that's been my experience with some stuff. Particularly, I remember being in daycare when I was very, very little. Teeny tiny. And they had made this, what was it? Oh yeah, it was a sandwich and it had mayo on it. It was the first time I ever had mayo. And it was awful. I couldn't understand why I hated the taste of it so much. But I just couldn't stomach it. And they basically, the daycare, like the lady that was watching me was basically telling me, like, if you don't finish this, your parents are never gonna come pick you up until you do, kind of stuff. It was absolutely torturous. And that was I remember that one. And I hated mayo ever since. I could never stomach the stuff. So, and that's kind of like, if you know me and you know anything about what I like to eat and don't eat, you know that I hate mayonnaise. And there was, I think I might have told you guys this one already, but this one time at youth group, you know, like Wednesday night church for youngins, teenagers and the like, they were having an ice cream eating contest, and my mom was helping run it. And I signed up, of course. You know, I think I can eat ice cream faster than anyone else. So I sign up for it. And they bring out our ice cream. And it's basically a gallon of ice cream. And they set them out in front of us. And 1, 2, 3, go. And I start going to town. Man, it must have only taken me 20 to 30 seconds to get through about a pint of it before I started to taste something a little off. Ice cream started to taste real funny, but I was like, okay, maybe it's just maybe it like sat out and like started to thaw out and then got a little sour before it made it back to the freezer again, whatever. So I kept going a little bit, and then it started hitting real strong. And then I started to realize it started to really taste like mayonnaise. And I stopped, and I looked up, and I looked at my mom, and my mom and the pastor are starting to, you know, they start, you know, they can't hold themselves back. It's hilarious. As they watch me realize what had happened, they had swapped my ice cream out for a gallon of frozen mayonnaise. Why would you do that? Why would you do that to your son, man? So freaking awful. I ran to the bathroom and started throwing up immediately. Because of course it started to really thaw out, and at that point, all I could taste was mayonnaise, inside and out. I couldn't get rid of it. My breath tasted like it. My stomach was full of it, and it was just thawing and melting and you know, growing in taste. And that absolutely permanently sealed mayonnaise's fate for me. I can't do this stuff, man. How do I not realize it's mayo? Well, you get really competitive and you enter an ice cream eating contest, and they do a dang good job of deep freezing this stuff. Like, they thought about it. And when it's frozen, you can't taste it. And they knew by putting me into a contest that I was gonna inhale it before I started to taste it. Like, and that's the other thing, is my mom knew. She knows, because she knows I'm gonna enter that and start inhaling it, because I love to go to Old Country Buffet on Sundays, and for one of my plates of food, it would be nothing but mac and cheese and corn. I would fill the plate up with mac and cheese, and then I would add a layer of corn on top and then mix it together. And I'd have that sucker gone in under 30 seconds. And then I'd be up and getting another 2 or 3 plates of the same stuff before I'd proceed with a normal meal of like meat and veggies and whatever else to make my grandpa happy and not complain about spending $20 on his kid. Eating nothing but mac and cheese at a buffet. It wasn't quite $20 when we were kids, but my grandpa was always harping on us to get the most out of your money. And I'm sure these days it probably costs somewhere around $20 a kid for the same stuff. Alright, we've got Julia here. We'll give it a sec. It's still booting. Oh, I almost forgot the best part of that ice cream eating contest. I forgot to tell you guys. I got a consolation prize. I won a Creed CD. Like the band Creed. Oh man. Ah, so dumb. I'll give you your time here. I'll wait for you. Did I do something wrong here, or am I just not being patient enough? I'm kind of sad. You know, I can restore it if I break it unplugging it. Let's see. Yeah, it's turning on. It definitely turned on earlier. Oh, it turned right off. It turned right back off, though. I think we're gonna have to dig back in here really quick. See what's going on here. I didn't break it. Look, it's forward progress. We got it turning on for longer than it was before, right? Give me a break. Jeez, guys. I broke it. I broke it. You know, I could just charge him 50% for the repair and be like, yeah, I mean, it works half the time now, so I'll just charge you half. You've got 10 seconds after it turns on to use it, and then you gotta restart it again. You gotta power cycle it. Oh, you know what? You know what? I think... Yep. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it, and I should have known with the physical damage to their top here. So, well, I'm happy with that. We don't have to tear this thing all the way back apart. Jeez, I broke it. Now look at you. Now look at you. I didn't break nothing. Now you're just a big, wrong, stinky butthole. Who said that? Who said that I broke it, by the way? Stefan said that I broke it. Yeah, Stefan, you stinky. I broke it. I never break anything. Get out of here. It's not Nick's breaks. It's not Nick Smash. It's Nick's fix. I can't believe you, Stefan. I should take your mod privileges away. No, I haven't fixed the Sonos thing yet. We're going to be doing the Sonos and the Bose equalizer either tonight or tomorrow night. I've got all the parts, I just need the time. Instead of a HomePod giveaway, can we let the winner choose 3 minis or a HomePod? That's, you know, I don't know if I could scoop together 3. Well, I could buy a few. I wouldn't mind buying a few for that. I mean, heck, I'd rather buy 3 minis for someone that wanted to choose those instead of a full-sized HomePod that I already have to give away. I mean, I don't think that's a terrible, I don't think that's the worst idea. It's a win-win for everybody. Everybody gets the same chance they did before. You now get to choose between the big one or the 3 minis. I mean, purely economically speaking, it's the same to me. You know, I wonder if that's what's going on with... I wonder if that's what's going on with this RMA here. It was doing the same thing. No. See, these things can be... No, is it still doing the same thing? Even with a different display, or did I grab another busted display? I'm gonna be so sad if we're gonna burn so much time on this thing. Oh, yes! I'm just impatient. I knew it. Yes! Okay. Alright, so in total, it got a new plastic top.
I'm having trouble connecting.
It needed a new display. Not actually sure if it needed a new diode, if it needed one or not, but, well, actually it did. It had the date code on it. We just didn't bother checking because it had the date code. It needed it whether it was dead now or not. We got a new ribbon cable. We've got new filters. We've got a new subwoofer gasket. Not bad, not bad. We'll want to be extra testy with that one and make sure it's got no issues before we shoot it back out. We moved a lot around inside of it. All right, let's get this next one up here. Julia with no power. And then we've got George and their 2 HomePods. Oh, what was that, Shuffle Hands? What was that, Shuffle Hands? Did you say I broke it? I'm gonna have to take your mod privileges too. The level of disrespect from my own moderators. And you wonder why I ignore you. Why would you choose 3 minis instead of a biggie? Well, if you can't take advantage of the sound of a full-size HomePod, let's say you live in a shared living space, and even with reduced bass, you know, frankly, when I had 2 minis set up as like a sort of pseudo surround sound in the guest bedroom for my in-laws when they stayed over, they were absolutely blown away by it. And they're used to, you know, nothing more than just the speakers that come in their TVs. Granted, they've got big, fat, old TVs, but they you know, the built-in TV speakers can only be so good, right? And they were just thoroughly impressed by how much sound and like stage that they could get out of 2 little minis. And you're not gonna get quite the same spread from a full-size. It's a different listening experience. 3 minis or a full-size HomePod, it's gonna be, you're talking about slightly different listening experiences. And you know, that different people are looking for different things and can only do so much with where they're at too. You could also, theoretically, if you're patient enough, if you're tenacious enough, you could theoretically pick the 3 minis and then sell 2 of them, make enough back to buy a used full-size HomePod and still have one of the minis. You can't make a 3 HomePod pair, but there's nothing stopping you from making a stereo pair with 2 of them, and then airplaying to both the stereo pair and the 3rd HomePod at the same time. And of course, the stereo pair will output the stereo sound to each channel, appropriately or whatever. And the 3rd mini that's by itself will just play the mono or the stereo mixed down to one speaker on itself. So you could have like a 1 HomePod mini up at the front acting as a center channel, and then you could have the 2 minis in stereo pair directly on either side of you. And if it's that versus 1 HomePod, and you're talking about like a movie theater experience, it's a tough call. I would have to sit and listen to them both before I had to choose between one or the other. That's a tough call. Alex! Alex. Did I check my box? Oh, I check my box every day, brother. I have to. They call me if I don't show up by like 1 or 2 o'clock. They call me and they're like, "Hey, are you gonna come by today by chance and pick up your packages?" Because they just don't have room to hold any of my stuff. Even though, like, on paper, I could technically make them hold my stuff for like, I think like 5 or 7 days. They will bug me until I come and pick it up. And I've always got stuff showing up every day. But I believe I know why you're asking. Were you the fella that sent me some spicy chips and some gummy bears? Was that you? I'm gonna take that as like literally the nicest way in the world of a gentle reminder about you poor iPod. Where is that fella? Yeah. We really need to finish this. We really need to finish that. I'm gonna put it over here so I stop forgetting about it. If it's on my desk, if it's in my sight, I'll stop forgetting about it. I'm gonna put the parts for that Bose equalizer right next to it here, so I don't forget that. And I'm pretty sure at this point your shipping label has definitely expired, but do not worry about that. I owe you for making you wait for freaking like unacceptably too long for this iPod. Like, frankly, it's been way too long. There's no good excuse. I gotta get to it. But I will make up for that return shipping for you. You don't have to worry about the loss on that return shipping. Also, I'm gonna get unsalted crackers. Hey, don't threaten me and my kid with a good time. If I won't like it, my kid's gonna love it. But you actually freaking nailed it. Jalapeno chips are it's tough. It depends on the mood I'm in. But they trade places with my favorite between jalapeno spicy chips and some Ruffle Ridges. And then you said, oh, and then there's some gummy bears too. And then some like spicy Fritos, I guess you could call them. Does my kid like mayo? It's hard to tell. She's at that age where she's developing her preferences and tastes. But it's kind of hard to tell when she's being picky or doesn't like something, or when she just doesn't want that thing right then and there. At the very least, so far, it seems like she doesn't have any major aversions to anything that we can find. But it also took me until how old was I to find out about mayo myself. Who knows what she's, essentially stomaching herself until she realizes what she really likes and doesn't like. I mean, heck, it took me until like I was, I think, like 17 or 18 years old to figure out like that rosemary was that one particular essence that I really didn't like in my stepdad's mashed potatoes. and you know, anything else that rosemary comes in. It was just one of those flavors that I couldn't really describe very well or pinpoint until I just figured it out one day. But it's not like, you know, stuff like rosemary and cilantro. They don't trigger such a strong involuntary reflex as mayonnaise does for me. Like, I can stomach cilantro and rosemary and all those other herbal spices, but like mayonnaise, sour cream, cream cheese, and the likes, if I get a whiff or an essence of it, it's game over. I can't help it, and I hate it too. I wish I could at least not hate it. Like, I don't even care to enjoy it or not. I just wish I could stomach this stuff so that I wouldn't be excluded from trying so many foods out. But there's just there's so much out there that looks so good that I know I'm not. Oh no. That I know I'm not going to tolerate. Oops. Let's get this fixed. Wow, we got really lucky with that. We didn't displace anything except for the step down. And that guy. I gotta say, that was really lucky right there. That could have cost us another 15-20 minutes. I gotta fix my classics too. I miss them so much. I mean, even on like older, not so expensive, not cheap, but not super expensive headphones. There's I really like the sound of the classics. I can agree with that. But all of my classics are in some form of disarray and need repair. They need new batteries or hard drives or screens. I'll fix them one day. All right. And I'm not too surprised that this capacitor here got a little displaced from all of that heat on the other side of the board. Let's just touch that up really quick. Very nice. All right. Ooh, it's the USPS. I bet that is a HomePod. For me? I normally have everything shipped to my mailbox, whether it's for personal or business. I just don't like giving my address out if I can help it, right? But, especially to strangers on the internet, it's bad enough I'm giving them my card information. But, Oh, I know what that is too. That's the $20 HomePod that I won on Goodwill's website. Shop Goodwill's auction site. But that's why. That's why. I keep forgetting to change my shipping address on Goodwill. Is that gonna be a giveaway HomePod? I've finally got. I mean, it's not gonna be. It may or may not be that one in particular. It'll just really just be whatever parts I end up putting together for it. It depends on the physical condition of it. If it's in good. Really good physical shape, then yeah. But I gotta pick between that one and a couple of other ones. How do we make this giveaway interesting, or, you know, different? Or do we even bother? Do we just do like a leave a comment to enter kind of thing? We'll pick a winner in a week. Do we want to do something fun? That sounds like a good first hardware hacking project, Shuffle Hands. Figuring out how to mod a 16 gig chip into your iPod. What you would need to do is essentially dump the raw data off your original storage chip, find a physically compatible replacement upgrade chip, and then I presume you would have to find and modify the right bits of data in the raw dump in order to make it recognize the larger capacity. Maybe not. Maybe you can just slap a freaking bigger storage chip that physically fits on the pads, and then do an iTunes restore with it. Dang, now you got me kind of wanting to try. A QR code in the stream? I don't know about doing a giveaway during a stream, because then if what about everybody that can't make it to the stream? And how long are we going to stream before we, you know, give away? And then how long can people stay and wait for us to stream before we do decide to hit the roll button? And then everybody's leaving comments, well, I didn't get notified about your stream. I didn't get told you were streaming. Oh man, it's like a few months back when I did the HomePod USB adapter giveaway. I was giving 3 of those things away, and I gave everybody like a week and a day, I think, and I still got comments weeks after we picked the winners from people saying they didn't never know or heard about it. And I was posting on Reddit, Twitter. I'd been talking about it every day here on our channel. Bullocks. Oh, have it in streams for about a week? QR code to enter. Okay, but what's the what are we gonna use? What are we linking the QR code for people to enter? Is it to? I mean, it's got to be to something that will. It's got to be to something that will have some way of preventing people from entering multiple times. I mean, QR code to a survey that we show the QR code in our stream every day for a week. The QR code links to a survey, a quick little survey. It's kind of like what I did for my adapters. It's like what I did for my HomePod USB adapter giveaway. Just a quick little survey. Ask people how they're doing, how their HomePods are doing. What are your hopes, dreams, and desires? You know, you gotta, you know, give me a minute if I'm gonna give you a HomePod. Yeah, and I really like Google Forms' way of, you know, you have to sign in with a Google account, and they only let you submit once. They have some pretty decent like detection around that. Very nice. Oh, that did pop pretty loud, but the filters are probably still pretty hot. I'll make a note of it and make sure it's thoroughly tested and calmed down before we send it back to them. We don't want to cause any problems here. Let's get George's pods up here if I can find my mouse. So George has 2 home pods. Let's see. Actually, one of them's no power and one of them's death farts. Let's see which one we grabbed here first. Looks like the one with death farts. Let's let it boot up and we'll take a quick listen at how bad it pops on a cold boot.
Connecting to the internet. For more info, check the homepod.
This one, I'm not hearing any issues. Second one has no bass and sounds terrible. Oh no. No bass. Fawn Hunter. Welcome, welcome. Yes, I mean, while you're here, thank you for the reminder. We'll go ahead and check that out for you really quick if George doesn't mind. I'm sure they need an extra minute to join us here. But let's go ahead and pull a couple of those parts off this spare parts board here for you. See if we can't figure out some resistance values for your situation. So we're going to do 2 things. We're going to measure them on the board, and then we're going to try to measure them again off the board. That's because I may not be able to read these off the board. They may wiggle around too much, and I might not be able to just simply get a good reading. But if we can see that on the meter for even a split second, it reads the same off the board as it does on the board, then we can go off of that as being good values. So here we go. We've got the board oriented as so. I've got my, this is where the ribbon cable wraps around and plugs into the other side. We've got that unplugged and pulled back. Let's take a look at this one on the left. On the board, the left resistor is seeing about 4 ohms. Let's check one more time. Nah, it's dropping. It's at about 3 ohms. Let's check this next one here. This second resistor on the right. Same reading, 3 ohms. So I have a feeling we're going to have to pull these off to get any accurate reading. This one says, this bottom one at the bottom here that's horizontal says 2 ohms. Let's go ahead and pull them off and see what they say. Pro tip, instead of pulling the part off the board entirely, we're going to simply scoot each component off of one of its two pads. That way the board can sort of act as a holder. And we're not trying to hold the components still with our probes here. So here we go, that first one on the far left. I'm getting it's so weird. It keeps moving between about 3 to 3.5 ohms. I'm sure if you got anything close to those values, it'll be fine. See, and now I'm seeing like none. Let's check the next one. Yeah, I have a feeling 0.3 ohms. Another one, 0.3 ohms. Okay, I think the exact value of these resistors might not matter. I'm gonna go with 0.1 to 0.3 ohms. I mean, they might even be 0 ohm resistors, and we're just dealing with dirty pads and dirty probes. It's hard to say for sure, but I think, you know, and also considering they are directly connected to that display cable, you think they would be maybe just like 0 ohm resistors that they're maybe using as like protection for protection or filtering or something. Alright, let's take a look inside of George's pod here. Jumper. Yeah, jumper makes the most sense to me. I think you're right. Subwoofer looks and smells okay. Everything so far looks fine, actually. We might have to power this up and test it out a little bit here. I'm gonna hook it up to my test woofer over here, off to the side. So we can connect a multimeter and check its DC offset. Even though I didn't hear any popping. Yeah.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet. For more info, check the Home app.
Everything looks and sounds great right now. Let's go ahead and grab their other one. Might as well. We'll plug that in and see. It should have no power here. Yep, no lights, no power, no nothing for that guy. Yeah, I'm sure this one's probably, we're gonna need to let it sit here for a minute.
I'm having trouble connecting.
And keep poking
I'm having
it.
trouble connecting to the internet.
I think we can, let's go ahead and accelerate things a little bit.
I'm having trouble connecting to.
No, it's still working.
I'm having trouble connecting to.
And our offset is staying well, very much well within spec.
I'm having trouble connecting to.
We're just gonna have to keep poking this and keep an eye on it. I think what we'll do while we're waiting for that to give us a problem, let's go ahead and break out this Bose equalizer. Let's go ahead and factory reset it, I guess. That way we can at least add it to our home, and I suppose we'll start playing music to it while we wait for it to fail. My wife is on her way home too, so we don't have a whole lot of time left here.
Your HomePod is about to reset. Keep pressing until you hear 3 beeps.
what do we got here that we will be replacing? We have got a whole bunch of parts. We have got NPN, PNP, and a some juicy stuff in there. So there's the pod. There's that. Let's grab a phone. The Bose EQ is never gonna get fixed. Shuffle hands. You are going to be sadly mistaken because we're gonna start this and then it's gonna get finished tomorrow. So here's the plan. We will go ahead and find and mark everything that's going to be taken off. And then we will, okay, we actually need to find a way to make this a little easier. How can we get this off? Oh, very cool. Okay. So we got that off. It's actually a bulb, an incandescent bulb in here. And then the plastic shines through like a lens to give it the red indicator status. That's interesting. Let's see if we can get this, well, that's actually pretty workable as it is, but it'd be nice if I can get this power cable out of here too. I don't think that's gonna happen though. I don't see how this is going to come apart. Yeah, I'd rather not try to break it getting an extra few inches of slack here. I think we've got plenty of room to work with. Oh. Very nice. Alright, let me pull up my instructions on this. Oh, I think it's already lost space. Yeah, no more bass. Bass is gone. Well, that didn't take long. Huh. Alright, so we've got, I don't like that too much. But I have seen a number of the pods like that where the amp, something on the amp does not like when it gets warm, and it'll cause the bass to stop working. So we're probably going to just need a whole new amp board for George's HomePod here. Go ahead and unplug that. We don't need it plugged in anymore. We know what it needs. I'm gonna do a little bit on this Bose EQ here real quick, because I know my wife's gonna be pulling into the driveway any minute now, and I want to at least start this so that way I have to finish it soon. So the first thing we're gonna do is actually we're gonna go ahead and for everything that we're not replacing, we are going to redo the solder joints on, because there's a whole bunch of cracked out joints on here. This one's the worst offender. You can see those moving around on both sides, and then this one's doing the same thing. The rest of them are actually, they seem okay. But we're gonna go ahead and touch them up again anyways. It looks almost like this board's been worked on before. I can't tell if that's factory flux or if someone's already refurbished this once. Or at least worked on some of it. Oh. Looks like we are out of time. Wife just showed up, so we are gonna call it quits here and now. Folks, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair. We're gonna jump right on into wrapping this amp up in our next stream, along with George's this HomePod from George, as well as his other one, and a few other HomePods that showed up today. Surprise, surprise. I'm sure there will be more that show up tomorrow and every day to follow as well, so I hope to catch you in the next